All right, good to go. All right, everything's on.
All right, good.
Yo, good evening. This is your boy, Rico. I'm sitting in your chair.
Yeah, we switched
Yo, this
positions,
your boy
so
Rico. This is my man Nico right here. What's good with you? Wow.
I'm good. We switched positions because I'm trying to heal my leg. Got a game. I don't want to miss it. So
So
that's
his
why we
leg,
switched
his leg's
positions.
over there propped up on something, whatever,
That's right.
ice packing.
Shout out Walgreens. We're not sponsored by Walgreens,
Yeah, young
but
folks. They
yeah.
they don't. What can you say? So today's episode, today's cast is about kind of like
There you go.
more like a judicial criminal justice aspect. We're talking today about those who get uh, hit for drug charges and why they have served so much time based on between the war on drugs and just the criminalization of what we talk about drug sales, drug use. So we're talking about addicts, or we're talking about those who sell.
I mean, I meant it pretty much just like in general why some charges get so much relevance or like so many years in jail, but other things that are very harmful to others get like a couple of years here and there, kind of thing. Did you kind of
so
maybe you can come up with better examples?
Yeah, all right. So this is what I'm gonna say about when it comes to the judicial system, and a lot of it is case law. The court system is so strict, though they have all this leeway. When they want to stick to the case law and stick to precedents, things that have been before, there'll be lawyers and judges that will basically say, well, I can't really go against this because of the way the law is written. It could be completely nonsensical, bogus, but judges and lawyers and what can't go against it because it's written. But then I've seen judges, a lot of judges, their authority is so broad that they're flagrant. They can talk any kind of way, act any kind of way, hand out sentences that seem unfair to fit the crime, good and bad. So, I can't say good because it's bad. Either somebody who done horrible crimes get less time than they deserve, or a person who did very little gets a horrendous amounts of time, and all in regards to setting an example and basically the what's spent on a lawyer. Let's take drug charges though. I think because of the war on drugs and the demonization of substances, people having free will to utilize substances for themselves, I think what happens is it's just a cash grab for the government and a means of control. I understand illicit drugs are dangerous. It does create a addicted population. Can be very dangerous in their
Wait, how is it a cash grab for the government? I don't get it.
Do you know how much money they make in regards
like with the whole war on drugs thing?
The whole war on drugs.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like just the judicial system. But yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I didn't see it that way.
And private prisons and all that. But what happens is that the people that sell drugs, usually in America, look at those who are disproportionately affected by illicit drugs in America. It's black and brown people, right? They've shown that Caucasians receive far less time or even charges at all in comparison to the overwhelming number of those who aren't white, and they receive absorbent charges. And the use is about the same. Now, it's good to come away from the whole marijuana argument because legitimately, well, you spilled. Legitimately, step off camera. We gotta wipe it up, man. Don't let the podcast stop.
Yeah, but I'm over here trying to heal.
Heal up. That's your problem. That's why you gotta keep a cap on your water, there, Bo. But realistically,
I'll be right back, everybody.
Yeah, he gonna. But realistically, so that you can still hear, and the audience can still continue. Realistically, the war on drugs was terrible. You're fighting the boogeyman, and most of the people that sell the drugs and use drugs here in America are not the ones manufacturing the drugs. They're not the ones shipping the drugs in here. They're not the ones with the intel to know who the big players in the drug game are. They're not. We don't have Mexican and Colombian cartels here in America. Not really until crystal meth, methamphetamines came in to where you have a lot of homegrowns, because marijuana shouldn't even count.
No, marijuana can't even count. That's stupid.
Well, and that's been demonized and still demonized for years because because what happens is the government wants a criminal element. They need criminality to justify a whole criminal justice system. Because think about it, you have a justice system, there's still a lot of fraud, there's still a lot of aspects of the court does that isn't criminal justice. But criminal justice is a big cash crop. Think about all the free labor. According to the 13th Amendment, 13th Amendment? Man, let me make sure I'm right.
Don't quote us on that yet.
Hold on, all right.
We don't want to throw out.
You don't want to throw out misinformation. And I should know this. Because I'm pretty sure there's a 13th Amendment. Yep, 13th Amendment. The abolishing of slavery. There's a caveat. There's a conduit. There's an asterisk on it.
It don't apply to prisoners.
Doesn't apply to those who are property of the government.
I know my crap too.
There you go. So you need because that, and we live in a modern society, 2022. That amendment should have been amended a long time ago. Why do you still need to have? Because you still need a slave. You still need a defined slave class. You know
how what I've always thought is funny. It's like they say that charges for X crime is I don't know, like you've seen it in the movies a lot, or like
mandatory
TV shows and all that. Oh, mandatory minimum 40-45 years for X thing you did. But if you snitch, you can get away with 5. It's like me telling you, hey, I got this car. The price is 40K though. But if you tell me this one thing, I'll give it to you for 5. So it's all BS. Yeah, like that really is the actual charge.
There are a lot of things built into
they just work you like
to circumvent it.
Yeah.
Look at it like this. When there's money in anything, it's corruptible. Depending on the lawyer you have, the connections you have. Why is it that you can have people who are addicts, they use drugs, they get public defenders, they're going to jail for them using drugs, for them willfully seeking out drugs. Now I understand back in the day with this element where they're threatening, they're robbing, they're trespassing, they're causing public distress.
When they're causing a crime.
Or sometimes when you have homelessness, drug use in the area, it devalues the area. I understand that. That can be easily addressed. But the problem we have is when you criminalize it, you're spending taxpayer money for a person who's spending their own money on drugs that they want to use. Yes, just like we talked about a little earlier about the situation with the neighbor who OD'd. That's unfortunate for that person.
R.I.P. David.
Yeah, their family has to go work through that. And that person, the coroner and the forensics team that got to do it. There's a cost behind that. But society is not gripped by drug use or abuse to that degree, addiction. And if anything, the worst addiction that we have now in America by far is, opioids, painkillers. And the thing about it is, pharmaceutical companies knew that. They know about that. They know from a chemistry point of view.
Oh yeah, they know.
And you see how that hasn't gotten criminalized, like cocaine, crack, marijuana. And think about it. Think about what's weird about this. When you look at it.
There's this one state, I think Oregon. They decriminalized it all, like heroin, weed, coke, and other 2 strong ones. Something like that. I read about it a couple years ago.
Let's look at it like this: marijuana, cocaine leads into crack.
Yeah, because it's a little drug.
Opium. Where would you say that these products mostly come from?
You mean what country?
Yeah.
Or countries?
Yeah. Do they originate? Do they originate?
Not from Colombia, no more.
Are they like cultivated and grown here in America primarily?
No, you bring them over.
Right. So these drugs come from there.
And it's imported. A lot of it.
Yeah, but it's imported.
It feeds the whole country.
Yeah, but it's imported, right? It's imported from a black and brown country, right? It could possibly permeate that economy somewhere else. Who's the main buyer?
United States of America.
First world countries, right? They're the biggest consumer of illicit drugs. Why would Colombia or Jamaica or any other country, why would they consume the same amount of drugs that the number one export or high export in the black market to another country?
You make more money.
You make more money. And what's more important? Money is more important than drug use. Let first world countries have their problems.
They will sell it to their own countries if they make more money. Like that's it.
Possibly, but you know that there's a bigger population that loves it, and your country needs to thrive. You got bigger problems than drug use.
Yeah,
right.
Basically,
and America has the luxury to get away with that, but there's a criminalized system behind it.
The demand is way bigger in America.
Yeah, demand is way bigger. The only problem I have with criminalization of drug use is that it's hurting. It's the only victim of drug use is the person who chooses to use drugs. That's the biggest victim. And maybe
and those around them.
And the immediate around them. But the person who gets the worst damage is that person and the damage they do to people. So property damage, theft, fights and anger, maybe even homicides for that part. But it's minimal. Now, people who sell drugs, the risk they take, right? That is a risk. It's criminalized. They take a risk, but they're only selling that which somebody wants. I can't. The idea of it being a victimless crime is interesting because it's not like trafficking a person, not like trafficking a whole body, or trafficking organs or animals or something like that. You're moving a chemical substance that somebody wants. That chemical substance is not being abused. It's being changed.
Yeah, somebody's requesting it. Somebody's paying money for it.
Somebody wants it, and you're providing it. It's Nico. It's no different than somebody in Flint, Michigan wants water, and you can hustle water. Think about like price gouging. Think about price gouging when there's a hurricane and people up the price of gas, up the price of water, and everything. The government basically says, no, you can't do that. You're supposed to be able to have a regulated amount so everybody can get it. Deregulation of and decriminalization of drugs, like you said, some place by deregulated and has regulated and decriminalized it to allow everybody to have a portion of it so they can get their fix and have the ability to supply themselves, feed that desire, with restraint, so they don't OD or cause an issue with a full blown addiction. Now you know what the problem I have with. What I have with is the government's entanglement with it. I have problems with they create an initiative behind it to make money or to have social control. And the biggest problem I have with is that you said the crime, homicides. You can knock it down. You can snitch. You can do all these different facets of circumvent the government, the law. What I don't like is that you got people in high positions, high places that do way more dirt. They control a lot of these facets. Pharmaceutical companies, biggest clearly drug dealers in the world, millions.
And it's all legal.
Yeah, think about it. They have clauses written in to where you can't sue them if their drugs cause you any type of damage. Vaccinations. I'm not trying to be an anti-vax or anything like that, but there are clauses that are out there for the public to see for every drug, the side effects it has, the damage it can cause you. There's clauses and there's contingency plans for insurance that if you get injured by something, there's funds to pay you in those situations. And these are known drugs. They don't come out here and tell you the side effects. At least with a few illicit drugs, what? Marijuana, coke, cocaine, heroin, crystal meth, and all the weird names they have for everything else. Flocka, freaking Tucci and what was that other stuff they was calling it? Spice.
Tucci. At least y'all call it Tucci here.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing.
I don't know. But
Tucci and all that.
All these street names for stuff, Molly and MDMA and shrooms. Yeah, all these things. Man, all the stuff that's illicit is pretty much broken down. Adderall. It's just a speed, it's just a form, just recombinate the chemistry. It's just what happens is it's illegal because when the low level man can control it and make a market out of it, that's beyond the bigger market and the bigger government don't like it.
That's the only reason.
Yeah, because look, Coca-Cola and Pepsi are trademark, right? But at one point, if they knew like you were hustling Coca-Cola on the streets, Coca-Cola have a problem. I ain't trying to get in the problem with Disney, but Disney has their trademarks. You can't use what's theirs, even though they don't own the story of Aladdin. They don't own the fairy tales. They don't own them. They own the images and likeness. But you out there pushing their product, they're gonna have a problem if they ain't getting paid. So my biggest thing about the punishment not fitting the crime is that they overcriminalize those for drugs because they're easy. They're low level. They don't have the kind of money and the kind of backing to fight back against.
And they're smart enough to put into society the stigma that all these things are wrong and only criminals do them, and you know, just despicable people get around to it. Like there's no addicts, like there's no mental health issues.
Man, when they used to call marijuana,
like there's no people who just want to chill, like close the door and do their thing.
Man, there were people that used to be popping Valiums and Quaaludes. Yeah, the housewives would be popping pills, which is like big in the 50s and the 60s, like, you know, popping these because the deal with social and like the cabin fever, anxiety.
Yeah,
man, look, when they used to call marijuana the devil's weed, put people in higher places, people in politics, been smoking, drinking, and doing illicit drugs because they have a barrier. Because why? They want to be the only ones to enjoy certain pleasures of life, but they want to restrict everyone else from having that because you want privilege. And also you create a black market so you can control that market as well, which is a high yield, high risk, but it's very low risk for people who have the money. They just fast money and you get more favors, you get more leverage and control. And also you do want a certain level of society to seek sedation. You do want a certain level of a certain component of society to want to constantly be sedated and be subdued by drugs because it keeps it relevant in the eyes of society, which makes it an option. We all would love to be able to travel the world and go on trips and live fulfilled lives. And
of course,
you would love to have everybody, when you get a certain age, everybody's going to have a home, everybody's going to have a car. I guess we're talking about socialism to a certain degree. The closest that our country allows a certain degree of socialism is support for those who are in poverty and a floating drug trade that allow you to drink alcohol, smoke cigarettes, which are legal, start doing other legal drugs, and still get access to a drug market that will take you away from your worries. There are no guaranteed jobs. There's no guaranteed shelter. There's no guaranteed health care. The necessities of life are not guaranteed, but best believe they're going to guarantee a market. They're going to guarantee that drug market is always going to be here. You're always going to have pharmaceuticals, and you're always going to have illicit drugs. You're always going to have alcohol. You're always going to have cigarettes.
And also the thing with all this is, I guess we only talked about drugs, but the messed up thing about this is if you want to do something that harms you, and at least, I mean, if you're 18 or 21, I think 21 is a better age. Okay. Even though when I was 18, I never agreed. But if you want to do something and you're not affecting nobody, like do it. Like if people want to smoke weed, let them smoke weed. If people want to drink, let them drink. They're not, if you don't go out driving and you know, getting killed or killing other people, I don't really give a crap what you do. Now with the whole weed thing, that's how I compare it, and I connect that to alcohol and cigarettes, because cigarettes are not legal and they're not good for you. So what the government does to show that they care, but really just to make more money because they know they're addicts anyways, they increase the tax a little bit. But cigarettes, they can't kill you. Yeah. But they just make a bunch of excuses to not make it illegal. But you shouldn't, if they care about you, cigarettes will be illegal too.
Yeah, but it's also an aspect of freedom, because think about it like this. It's regulated. It's weird. They'll let, you know, cigarette companies market to a certain degree. Like you won't see a cigarette commercial on TV. Well, there's no cigarette commercials on TV. There are alcohol commercials on TV, but not cigarette commercials on TV. Okay. You will see certain regulations, and those are things that they control. But the idea is to maintain a market. It's all about maintaining the market. If the public health cared about you, yeah, they care about you to a certain degree, but they don't want to impose upon your freedoms. But they do want to impose on you certain freedoms. They want to impose and keep you from certain freedoms. Like They're thinking about the workforce. They're not thinking about your freedom. They're thinking about the workforce. And they're like, okay, people should be able to do what they want to do if you can afford to maintain it away from our eyes. So the CEO that's doing lines of coke and drinking and doing whatever little bit, whatever, he can do that because he can pay for the lawyer. He can pay to keep it quiet. And his dealers, they get in trouble because they're exposed. They're not making any connections to him. He ain't a big dope lord.
Yeah.
So he can live like that. Also, the person who's under the radar, not really doing anything. The person ripping and running, they might have a problem. And the thing, and politicians are some of the biggest. Politicians, they're the same ones up there championing, oh, drugs, and they're the same ones who got kids, they themselves railing up 15 minutes before they go out. So it's hypocrisy. And they know it. And the biggest thing about it is the public.
What pisses me off is not the hypocrisy, is the people's like how naive they are to believe it. I need to freeze this.
Yeah, go ahead. But think about it, it's like the Truth Campaign. They're against smoking cigarettes, and they try to tell you how bad cigarettes are, and they try to spook you with cigarettes. But then the government, all of that, and how bad they are, they're not going to stop you from smoking poison. They're going to stop you from drinking poison. But they want to basically. I
guess their excuse is that cigarettes don't put you in a different state of mind that you can really control yourself.
Well,
that's one of their excuses.
State of mind. Have you ever seen people who can't control themselves unless they have a cigarette? The nicotine calms them down. You create that dependency. Alcohol. I know plenty of functioning alcoholics. They are decent when they have a little bit of float, but they are wrecked when they don't drink. It's a chemical substance. So
they know that.
It's all relative, man. The thing about it is, like, I don't believe that people should be getting sentences for that. Charge people who commit sexual assault. Charge people who commit fraud, who defraud people. They defraud the government. Yeah, go after them, but go after people who defraud people. Go after people who all these assaults and all this nonsense. Like get people in check and be fair. Be fair. Stop going for these apology tours. Oh, well, they're sorry. No, they're not. That person's not sorry. If you're sorry, you have ethics. You don't do that. If you don't do that to someone, if a situation forces you by way of circumstance, well, like I had to because of this, and your hand was forced, I'll be more understanding. But if there's opportunity, or you just didn't care and you just did it because you're evil, SOB, then nah, you can go back. And the thing about it is, when we start holding people that level of accountability, you got to start holding judges accountable. You got to start holding politicians accountable. You got to start holding people in high places accountable. And the upper echelon knows that they want to be able to control people with that fear of the breaking the law. But you see it with cops all the time. Cops, their knowledge of the law, very little limited knowledge of the law, has them a lot of times acting like they're above the law. You never seen a cop get pulled over by another cop?
No.
Man, they got YouTube videos of a cop pulling over another cop, and watch how cops act. Cops act so entitled.
I think I saw it or something.
Yeah, they don't ask cops. They don't believe they should be getting pulled over. But you still can break the law. You're at the end of the day, you're a citizen. You're a public servant. You serve the public. And if you're breaking a public law, it doesn't matter who you are. Politician, governor, senator, chief of whatever, president, don't matter. But the problem is when we co-sign to that. When we co-sign to people in higher places are better than us, they can do that because their job is so hard. They're this and they're that, whatever. They're expecting you to be like that because it's like, I feel I'm better than you. Say I'm better than you. So that's how you can. Back home, we had a young man. He rear-ended some people and their car blew up and they died. He was the son of a fire chief. Because of his dad's position, they were trying to finagle and delay the case. Why is it that somebody else's position can help someone skirt the law? People died behind that. Come on, man. But if he had been Joe Small off the street, he had the book thrown at him. That's bull to me. And the worst part is with drugs. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is a never-ending topic, really. I mean, it really is BS.
Yeah,
it is bull. Comment down below all the. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not. Rico doesn't like when I do that. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about this podcast. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is there anything we left out? Maybe. Leave a like button. Leave a like on this video as well. Share it. Okay, I can't talk.
You all right?
Share it. No, I'm not right.
Look,
I'm thinking of
like-
10 things in my
Like,
head
share,
right now.
comment, and
Subscribe.
subscribe.
There you go. Just don't listen to me right now.
Lord have mercy.
I got 10 things on my mind.
All right. Y'all be good.